I'm rolling.
And can you guys just introduce yourselves really quick too? So you're
I'm Shaina Boone, the VP of Marketing Science for Critical Mass. I run the analytics department globally across all of our offices.
gotcha.
My name is Joseph Carrabis. I'm the Chief Research Officer and founder of NextStage Evolution and a bunch of other NextStage companies. And we're dull and boring.
I don't believe that for a second.
Give me time.
Okay. You have like 5 minutes, so we'll see how you do. All right, so we're going to talk about your session today, and it's called Fuck Privacy. Maybe we'll bleep it out, maybe we won't. So that's a pretty bold statement. What are you trying to get across with that?
Well, there's a lot of benefit that comes from people sharing their data. Most people aren't aware of what those benefits are. And the PR and media companies are really spending 100% of their time talking about negativity around sharing your data and none of the positivity. So we're trying to take a different stance on it to educate people so that they see the other side of the coin and that everyone doesn't just automatically assume that sharing their data means everything's going to be bad and it's the end of the world, which is kind of what the PR folks seem to be doing right now.
Okay, I got you. So, we talked a lot, you were just talking about how some people believe data collection is, they're trying to get all my stuff and keep it and do who knows what with it. So can you debunk the myths about data collection? Like what are the things that I think, for example, and is it true, is it not true?
Right. Well, most people assume that we know who you are personally, and most of the time you haven't given your personal information. So let's say you go to the Nissan website and configure a car. We don't know who you are at all. We just know somebody, picked a Murano, chose red, and, chose a tan interior. So the biggest misconception is the level of detail of data that people have. And they assume like their medical health records are the same kind of data that the data collection on a website are, and they're quite different. Do you have anything to add to that?
From the neuro perspective, the data collection is unique in the sense that you being raised with a certain background, certain education, certain cultural history, so on and so forth, you're basically going to have a certain set of pre-cognitive states when you go into a situation. So what Neuro Analytics does is it determines that your predeterminations, your precognitive states, slightly vary from Shaina's. Definitely will vary from mine. I'm guessing I have a very different background than you do. So when a Neuro Analytics tool is used in commerce, it does this incredibly rapid winnowing, if you will, to say, I know how this person made a decision. This person seems to share a lot of this person's precognitive states. Let me see if what I know worked for her works over here. So much as human beings, we recognize individuals we know what they like, we know what they don't like. We see a friend of theirs, well, I know that you like coffee, maybe they'll like, can I get you guys a cup of coffee? That's what Neuro Analytics does at a very interesting and rapid level. It says, I know what that person liked, that person's like that person, let me see if they like the same thing.
But it still doesn't say it's Kelly Butler.
Correct.
Right. You still don't know it's me.
No.
You know some
Right.
stuff about me.
That's
but you
the
don't know
big
it's me.
misconception.
Yeah.
Unless it's the case where you're actually filling out a form
Right.
and giving your personal information.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only, the only thing that we are really, something we watch very carefully is we want to make sure people recognize they're not being individualized. So your privacy is safe. We don't know that it's you. We know it's somebody who has, if you will, this constellation of ways of thinking. So we can match that against somebody else's. But we don't know that it's you here in Austin versus somebody in Spokane, Washington versus somebody in Boston. It's just, these are the way people think. They think the same way. Let's see if things work the same way.
Interesting. How does that affect web analytics? Like,
You can use that information to help decide how to message, change copy, images, all that kind of stuff, that
Okay.
it might be better for this type of person, like say the Pampers website that we used to work on. Certain women or mothers or fathers in Sweden might reply or respond differently to messaging than those in the UK. UK-based people respond better to more negative messaging, if I remember right,
Yeah.
whereas Swedish-based people respond to more positive messaging. So it's all in the details of the writing and the imagery kind of chosen, that people would respond better to it. And it's not that we're trying to get them to do something all the time. We're just trying to make them have a good, comfortable experience that's enjoyable on the website.
Right.
And it should get you there faster when you use the neuromarketing side.
Right. So you're working together in order to figure out my profile, how to speak to me
Yeah.
individually without really knowing that it's.
Right.
Correct.
I gotcha.
Right.
That's where all the cultural dynamics comes into place. People know I'm not slamming anybody else's company. I'm just saying it would be unimaginably hard, in my estimation, to do neuromarketing without having a really rich background in cultural studies, in linguistics, in psycholinguistics, mainly because to do everything that Shaina was just talking about, to know that Sweden is going to respond one way to this color, Britain another way, France this way, Italy that way, you need to know cultural identity, you need to know sociocultural imagery, you need to know the history of language of those people. How did that language change over time so that something I say today had the same meaning across generations to my parents' time?
How do you study that? How do you get your data?
I can't speak for others, but for our company, we spend a lot of time actually being out around people.
Okay.
We have, of course, our core team of developers who are, they know how to put code together. But the bulk of our company is actually people with backgrounds in cultural anthropology, socioanthropology, linguistics, psycholinguistics. We have a crack team of semioticists.
What is that?
Semiotics is, in many ways, it's the precursor to language. It is what we come up with in our head that we know that hand, that word hand, that's what that word is. But hand, the word hand, is actually a symbol for this. So semioticists determine what symbol reverts to this across cultures. I can recommend a lot of really interesting books for those who are interested in it.
That's great. That's really interesting.
My pleasure.
Um,
I said I was boring and dull. Now you know.
I know. No, you just said something really good. You're so self-deprecating.
On purpose.
So, what would the world look like if we could, as marketers, collect all the data that we wanted, without any regards to what somebody's going to think? What does the world look like? Because some people fear that that's what it's coming
where
to.
it's going.
Yeah. I mean, even this RFID chip at a party, do you know what I mean? Are we all going to have implants later? What's going to happen? Like, how do you see the future if you can collect this data any way you want?
Well, it does seem like we're at a point in time where a lot of decisions are being made around that. And that's what all the government regulations are hoping to control and retain and shape. Earlier last week, someone said to me, we're about to have a Chernobyl of data. And I was like, well, that's a little bit extreme, but they really felt that way. And that we're on the brink of there being either a huge disaster and, who knows what might happen. And or we're on the brink of doing a lot of good in managing it. So it's kind of unknown. It's just like, 15 years ago, we didn't know that we would have iPhones and Facebook and all these things. The industry advances itself and innovates so quickly, it's really hard to predict it. So I would just say that the utopian state is one where everybody gets their way. People who want to share their data get to share it and get better experiences, and people who don't get better experiences, and that would be the utopian state. Everybody getting their own way, in my opinion.
You mentioned that band you have on your arm, and that's a significant element to what we're discussing today, because that thing, that device, really doesn't tell you anything about you. It tells other people about you. So you have the power, you, Kelly, you have the power to take that off. You have the power to really screw people up by having me wear that. And what's Kelly? Wow, I didn't realize she liked that kind of stuff. Oh, whoa.
No, stop looking at that porn.
Yeah, really? Oh, she stopped downloading porn, by golly. So one of the key things that's actually being discussed by legislatures around the globe at this point is that difference between what I want you to know about me versus what you want to know about me. We get into the concepts of public versus private persona. How I am in my home with my family is very different than how I am here around this table. At least my wife sitting back there hopes to God that's the case.
Yeah, we're going to talk to her later.
Okay. But it's that way online. And we were in a fascinating session earlier today about the concept of a digital bill of rights, privacy. And it really, in my mind, it really hinges around what do I want you to know about me versus what you want to know about me. What you want to know about me is how to market to me, how to make my experience better, how to make me enjoy what's going on around me better. That's a very noble goal.
Right.
My goal, and this is very age dependent actually, at least our studies have found this, people, with gray in the beard, so to speak, they have a very different concept of privacy than people perhaps your age. People in the 20s, teens through 20s, have a concept of privacy that my generation, and definitely my parents' generation, immigrants, you're willing to give them information, but the whole concept is, to my generation, people 45 and older, the concept of sharing information, of giving privacy information, makes me less. If I tell you something about my family, it's almost as if I own land, and if I tell you something about my family, now I own less land. I've given something up of myself. To the younger generations, the net generations, if I give you something about myself, I become more. I get downloads faster. I can access this. I can tell my friends stuff they don't know about me. So I become bigger. Now think about this. Generationally, I become smaller, but if I'm a net generation person, I become bigger. Wow. How to market to those two
I was just going to
groups.
ask you, how do we do that?
Yeah.
Let me know.
It's really tough.
How do you, because
You have to know who's coming there in the first place.
Well, this is where Shaina's group is genius.
Right. Then that's where the web analytics helps in combination. We go, now we know these are the people who are coming to the site. It's not the other people that we thought it was. Let's change the messaging accordingly so it's more appropriate for them.
I got you. And messaging is extremely important. And you're right, you cannot talk. A lot of times in a brief, they'll give you the demographic is between 25 and 45. And you're like, whoa, that's
a big
two
range.
different things, Am I
Hogging this? Let me know.
No.
We've had clients who present us with, these are the persona. And, they basically comes down to soccer mom and truck driver
Soccer mom
Joe.
is a popular one.
And we look at them and we go, well, this is wonderful, but you don't have a clue how they're thinking. Yes, we do. They're soccer moms. Okay. Why does the soccer mom want her kids to play sports? Why is it so important to her? Is it because she gets social collateral? Her peer network gets bigger? So, good, go play soccer. I'm going to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
Or is it, by putting them in there, I will be able to create a nexus around them and they'll have better opportunities in the future. So it's great that, and if you want to hit soccer moms, whoa, great, or truck driver Joe, realize that because you have created this persona, you're probably going to capture, maybe if you're lucky, 10%. But if you recognize these little minor segmentations, and how do I hit all 4 buttons across all 4 of those? Now you're getting 25, 35, 45, 55%. So it's worth the little extra, we believe, it's worth a little bit of extra effort to combine the analytics so that one little piece of information from Shaina's world connects with a piece of information from my world. You have that targeted information coming out without knowing anything about the target.
And that's some of the stuff that the I still don't know if they're anti-privacy or pro-privacy, but anyways, those people who don't want their data collected don't like that stuff. So we can go say to them, fine, you're going to get messaged to, it's going to, no matter what. The messaging isn't ever going to go away for you. So opting out of it is just going to give you the wrong message. So you'll be that much more irritated. So hopefully you're happy being irritated most of your life because you're not giving up something to get something out of it. And that's the hardest part to explain. People feel like it's Big Brother and they're being watched.
Yeah.
And that is easier to make a big stink about than actually I'm getting what I want. Nobody wants to make a big stink about how great it is that they're getting everything they want. That like it's because it's not the way human nature is not one to make a big deal about things that are good.
Right.
Right?
True. One of the examples we do based on a training that our company provides clients, without going through the whole training, it basically comes down to, I would like you to give me your business card. And I want you to put a number where I can reach you 24/7 on the back of it. So not just your business card. I want to contact you, touch you. And I want to be able to do it whenever I want to, whenever I think there's a reason for me to do it. And you're looking at me, and
I'm like,
right. Did you travel to get here?
Yeah.
Did you have a travel alert on your?
On my phone?
Yeah.
Not this time, but I do sometimes.
Okay, so you are willing to give somebody 24/7 access to you, based on.
True, but it's not my phone. But it's not a phone number.
You keep a mobile with you at all times?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you're giving somebody 24.
Okay.
It's the fact that they didn't have a beard and were threatening you. Give me a number.
Right.
But that's the point. This is what one of the things we're recognizing now, is that people will place this fair exchange, if you will, on information, private information, personal information. I will give you something. What do I get?
In return, right.
In return. What's the balance point?
There's also a trust issue there, right? Like you have to trust the company.
You don't trust me?
Well, you do look a little
I'm
shady.
crushed.
You do look a little shady because it wasn't.
That's because of the sunlight.
Yeah. You're right. Well, if you shut up my door and said, give me your number, I don't know if I could do it, is all I'm
Hypothetically
saying.
speaking.
Yeah.
I mean,
All recognized and true, and that's the point of the exercise.
right. So yeah, you're right. There is a big difference when you have someone in front of you and then you have this company
Right.
that is saying,
This website.
yes, that will, and I do think there's a trust in that company. Some companies I trust with my information and some companies I don't. And I think
Yes.
that's a branding thing a lot of times.
I say to people, never trust someone with a beard.
Really?
Yes. And I've had one a long time, so I know.
I'm a personal beard fan, so I think it's a good thing.
I'm waving to my wife.
Yeah, I know she's not even looking at you.
I know. She
She's
sees
so,
me enough.
she's like whatever. I listen to him all
right,
day.
uh-huh.
So I have one more question. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Go to karaoke. Wow.
What was the favorite song you just like singing?
I really like Sign, Seal, Deliver, Stevie Wonder.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I seem to have a voice that's in that pitch zone.
Sign, seal, deliver.
Yeah, but don't make me sing it right
No, I won't do that. That's all. I just sang it badly for you. Favorite song you hum to? Karaoke? Anything?
Do I get to say a Gaelic walking song?
Yeah.
Gaelic walk, yeah. there
Gaelic
you go.
walking song?
Road.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Long Strange Road.
Well, it's been a long strange road.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
together.
Okay. Can you hum it a little?
The walking song?
Yeah.
Haru horo, hari haro, hare kiahan na chaging gaun,